With new restaurants opening nearly every week in the Twin Cities, the restaurant scene is hot. But for anyone with hearing challenges, choosing a new eatery can be harder than deciding on what to eat. Local hearing professional Taiha Wagner is here with some advice for foodies to make the most of their nights out. Welcome. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
I think even if you don't have a hearing loss that's detectable, sometimes the din in these places is terrible enough. Well, how many folks do you calculate have hearing loss in America?
About 48 million people are challenged with some degree of hearing loss, and restaurants can be a real challenge. Restaurants actually are one of the first places that people could even notice that they begin to have a hearing loss. As we're competing with all the background noise in a restaurant, being able to focus on a conversation like this becomes a challenge. That actually was a place where I discovered I had my own hearing loss. My husband and I would frequently go out to eat in a loud restaurant. I was really struggling to hear him, so I knew it was time for me to get my own help at that point.
So we aren't talking necessarily about folks who are older, but typically when we notice it is at what age that the hearing begins to become noticeable?
Well, by the time people get to an office like mine, you know, they've had hearing loss for about 5 to 7 years, and that's going to be around the age of about 65.
So we postpone it for too long.
We do.
And there's technology that is certainly good that will help you.
Right.
Some things that you suggest people do, let's begin with one of them. Read online reviews.
Right, so one of the things you'll want to do is get online, look for some feedback from previous diners on noise levels, but also get on a restaurant's web page and take a look at the decor and see if it has any sound absorbing surfaces like curtains and carpet, and look for restaurants that have booths.
That sound absorbing material, that really makes every bit of difference. I find even for myself, sitting near windows isn't very good. Sitting away from them is better. Right,
right. Windows really bounce sound back. And so you want to also look for, you know, picking a good seat. And so if you can get your back up against a wall, drywall's preferable over windows for sure.
That's interesting because last night I did that, and actually it's very effective.
Yeah,
you can do much better with that. And last we talk about technology and the improvements that have been made in hearing aids and devices.
Right, yep, I help my patients with that every day. The technology has come leaps and bounds, and we have special programs built into hearing aids now that are just for noisy environments. We can set a different program to help drop down the background noise, that's the distraction, and focus the amplification here on the people that we're eating with.
Because in the old models of them, everything was amplified, so you didn't have that distinguishing from
it's
the
really
background.
hard to pull that conversation out from everything else that's happening. That's not the case anymore.
And digitized for the most part, is that how
Yes.
these operate?
Yep,
then?
they're all digital.
And some are not detectable even, you know, as they go
Right.
into the ear canal.
Right, yep, we have nearly invisible hearing aids now.
Well, thank you. We hear you loud and clearly here today. Thank you
you
so much for being here, Taiha. We have more on this topic at care11.com. Look under the shows tab and the news at 4.